Fear. Such a delightful word. It teaches us to beware the dark and all the things within it that go snippety-snap, eager to rend your innards from your belly to stuff their own hungry guts. Oh, this puts me in mind of one of my favorite tales. For there is one legend, older than all the rest, one that as civility beat back the wild as centuries turned into millennia, has evolved along with us. The fear of fangs, of shadows, of teeth that flash in the dark. The story of a wolf waiting in the shadows, ready to rip out our throats. It was on one fateful Naberus night that a hapless Grenier soldier discovered that one should not wander off into the deep woods alone. For alone you may not be. A howl split the darkness that sent a shiver down the spine. Through all the horrors of war that this Grenier had seen in all his years, there was something about the sound. It tapped into the very thing that is born as we are born, sputtering and mewling into this uncaring world. Fear. He was alone. He was being hunted. And he was afraid. Into the night the Grenier soldier ran, over stump and through darkened glade, with the sound of the beast growing closer, louder, howling, jaws slather snapping, a misplaced foot, an ill-timed step, and the ground came rushing up to meet him. Rolling onto his back, he sought to defend himself, but last, catching sight of his pursuer, primal terror had come for him. A twisted shape, bulbous, stinking, fetid, jaws drooling with ooze and ire. An infected Kubradon. Lifting his marelock, his shaking hand took aim. Bang! A single shot killed the beast dead. He laughed at his own foolishness. He, a mighty soldier, afraid of a single sad and infested Kubradon. Hubris, my dear Tenno, is responsible for more tragedy in this world than any other inclination we may have. Remember that, and someday it may save you. For notice he did not that the slain beast's family had encircled him. The creatures descended, sinking teeth into flesh, peeling sinew from bone, spreading their infested blood into him. How he screamed, fighting off the monsters as best he could. Fists pounded into fur as he fought like the beasts around him. It was all he had left. One heartbeat would be all that could spare him from the grave. In the end, he survived, torn and shredded, bleeding and bitten, but alive. He thought that his arduous saga had come to an end, until he heard that dreadful howl once more. Though, this time, it came from him. Flesh twisting, bones snapping, the noises that left his agonized form were bestial, wild, feral. Soon it was he who stalked the night. It was he who tasted blood upon his fangs. It was he who inspired the fear of the hunt. Oh, fret not though, dear heart, for even the hunters can be hunted. The beasts can be felled, and trophies can be made of those who were brought low. But mark me, Tenno, for perhaps this Naberus night, when you think yourself the pinnacle of the hunt, you had best be wary of the eyes peering at you from the dark, lest you be next. Happy Naberus!
Do you remember the old war, operator? Ordis seems to have misplaced those memories.
Would you like to hear a story for Naberus? One that I told my grandchildren when they were small. Very well. Long ago, in the Orokin days, a golden people lived in spoiled luxury. If a body wore out, why, they would take a new one as easily as plucking a maprico. Such was the mystery of the Kuva. So, what became of death and disease? Oh, they were abundant, but not for the Orokin. They were above petty death. Such was their contempt that they decreed a special day on which to make fun of it. On Naberus, the night of memory, the shining people laughed at death. They dressed in costumes that recalled the old days of mortality. Skulls grinned, hallways guttered with demon lights. For one night, beauty was banished, rot and monstrosity held sway. Now, on one very special Naberus, 3 pretty Orokin were bored, as Orokin so often were. Naberus no longer holds its magic for me, sighed one. Masks and costumes are for children, grumbled another. Why follow the crowd, mused the third. Are we not the very elite of the elite? Ha ha! Up, my Kissingtons, my luscious loves. Send for blue Kuva and hot lights. I have a sport that will mend all. And in the corridor, behind a curtain, a solitary silent girl heard them and said nothing. Then the 3 were very wicked. For what do you think they did? Down into the streets they went, and they caught 3 poor ostrins and bore them back to their gilded halls. One they peeled like a fruit and decked out with glassy splinters, and his naked jaws went chitter-chatter-snap. And it echoed all around. Scarlet footprints he left. Another's limbs they twisted and wrenched his neck, and made a bundle of him until he scuttled upsy-downsy like a horrid crab, with his sockets all empty and his stretched-out nose snuffling. The third they pulled thin in hand and foot. She walked spindly-wise on long tiptoes like a spider, and her entrails hung delicately down. She whispered, split-tongued and hissing as she went. "Fine costumes we've made," chortled the 3 Orokin. Let us now try them on and visit our friends. What shrieking there will be! Oh, our names will live forever in the court for such a prank as this. Now, the silent girl brought them their blue couver, so they could take on these twisted bodies for only a short time before returning to their own. They drank and slept and woke in their 3 horrid forms. Off they went down the stairs, out the door, into the city, into the night of banners and masks and wild hilarity. Chitter-chatter-snap, scuttle-buttle, whispery-hispery. As you can imagine, there were many screams and laughs, such cleverness, such wit. But in a high room of the tower, the silent girl looked at the faces of the 3 sleeping Orokin. She went and opened a little ivory door that she was not supposed to know about, and drew forth a flask that she would have been glassed for even looking at. A flask of crimson couver, the scarlet seal upon continuity, permanent. And she tipped it down 3 cruel throats. With a little laugh, she went skating away, never to return. There were many screams that Naberus night, but when the sun came up, none screamed so loud as the 3 who found that they were trapped in the hideous bodies they themselves had fashioned for ever and ever. So, listen carefully, Tenno, and beware, for you may hear them coming tonight. Whispery-hispery on long stalking bones, scuttle-buttle with his eyes all empty, and skinless, dripping-handed, chitter-chatter-snap. Happy Naberus.